Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Moving the Chains with Ashmere. I'm here with Dominic and Aryanna Prasad, not related. I'm sure you've heard that a billion times on our other shows. But we're going to talk about the exciting NFL games for this weekend. Welcome, guys. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. And to everybody, I was late, so that's why we're a little late.
Me too.
I was on time.
Yeah, yes. Well, you look great. That's why, okay?
The Prasads were pressed yet again.
Yeah, the story of our life. Okay, I'm not going to be a hater, but I do need to ask how you're doing, Dom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, rough week last week. Just you can't put yourself in a 28-point hole in the first quarter. It is what it is. Yet another disappointing end to a season that had a lot of promise for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But hopefully some things are changing. We got rid of offensive coordinator Randy Finkner, so we'll see how all this goes. But I've processed it. I feel a little bit better now. I was sick to my stomach about a week ago, though. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little shady for throwing that tweet out into the world and saying, "Tweet everybody is Dom okay."
Yeah, I mean,
well, I bet on the Steelers with my mom. I don't know if you caught Aryanna and I our show from Tuesday, but I bet my mom. I was like, "Mom, Big Ben has more experience. Like he's just ready to move forward in the postseason." And my mom was like, "Dude, I doubt it." And then
we should have won that game. We should have won that game. But hey, any given Sunday, it's all right.
I'm just laughing because I literally bet my mom $15 and lost the $15. So, yeah. But I guess we could just roll into the matchups for this week. So I play the Fox 6. I don't know if you guys have that where you live, but Fox has this Super 6 things where you can bet on different things, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I do it because I'm trying to win that $250. Right. So I thought we could do the first one together so we could win together. So for the Saints and the Bucks, how many completions will Tom Brady and Drew Brees combine for? 0 to 38, 39 to 42, 43 to 46, et cetera, to 56 plus.
I like what was it? It was 43 to 46.
I was thinking that too.
I like that. I don't think this game is going to be super high scoring. I think that you have two really good defenses. I don't think that the Saints are averaging like 36 points a game when they play the Bucks this year. I don't think that happens again. I think that this game will be a little bit more evenly matched, and I think that the Bucks actually came to play this time. I don't see a huge high-scoring game, so I like both Tom and Drew having somewhere in that 23 to 26 completion rate range.
Okay, 34% of people rated 56 plus. I don't know how high scoring they think this game's going to be, but I agree with you guys. Which team will have the most receptions and by how many? I mean, I think that's right.
Between the Saints and the Buccaneers? Between the Saints and the Buccaneers, right? Which team will have the most receptions and by how many? I think that – so I like the Buccaneers to win this game, and because of that, I also like the weapons that Tom Brady has a little bit more around him than Drew Brees. So I think that he'll be able to spread the ball out a little bit more, whereas most of the catches for the Saints are going to come from Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara.
Agreed.
I'll take the Bucks, and I'll say
I'm going to say 3 receptions, like not too many.
I'll say 6.
Okay. 6. Ari, same?
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking that, like you guys said, like the Bucks, they have so many people to pass to, but at the same time, I feel like, Tom Brady can get off the long pass, and I think that Drew relies more on the short to medium pass, especially as we mentioned with Kamara and Michael Thomas. So it might be, I think it'll be a high frequency. I still think the Bucks will have more. But yeah, as far as how many more, well, it's tough. I'll go with 5.
Okay. Last question. Which team will have the most rushing yards? Bucks or Saints?
Saints. Just because Alvin Kamara is a cheat code. Now, granted, some of those might be passes, so that might eat into some of his rushing yards. Also, good news for the Buccaneers. They get Ronald Jones back this week, I believe. So that way they'll have their two-headed monster back. But I'll go with the Saints.
Okay. If I win some money, I will share it with you guys. Okay.
Yeah. I think that the Saints.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. But no, I think the Saints, the share will definitely be larger with the run. But as you mentioned, Ronald Jones is coming back, and we've seen what he can do this season with his incredible 98-yard run, the longest in franchise history. But we have to note Leonard Fournette last week. He had an incredible performance. So yeah, I definitely think that the Bucs will be getting more offensive yards. It's hard to know because I feel that while the Bucs have been surging toward the end of the season and through the playoffs, the Saints have been waning a little bit. They're still such a strong team, but what do you guys think about that?
I do like that the Buccaneers have kind of come into their own finally offensively. Like, it took them a while, but these last 5 games offensively, they've clicked, and that's what's scary about the Buccaneers. You know, I said the Buccaneers were the wild card in the NFC because they could lose to anybody, but they could beat anybody. So we'll see. Like I said, I like the Bucs. I'm gonna go with the hot team. The Saints didn't look too great last week against the Bears. So I like Tampa Bay. I just think that it's better to be hot and to be in a rhythm, and that's exactly what this offense is right now.
Okay, so let's just roll into the predictions for this game since we're already talking about it.
Okay.
I predict the Bucs to win, and by at least 7 to 10 points because of the performance from last week. I think the Saints could have outscored the Bears by way more than they did, and I think that is like something that the Bucs will feed off of. So, Aryanna, who do you think is going to win? These are your 2 favorite teams. We should tell everybody. To everybody that doesn't know, Aryanna loves Tom Brady. Aryanna's from Louisiana. This is like her life story in one game.
Oh, God. Yeah, I feel very conflicted. I would love if both teams could win and advance the Super Bowl, but alas, only one can go on. But I do think the Bucs are the stronger team just because and it's been noted quite a bit, right? These are 2 aging quarterbacks. Drew Brees is about to be 42. Tom Brady's 43. Combined age of 85, I found out today. So, but I think Tom's still playing so strong, and he's been showing that. But I think with a lot of aging quarterbacks, Drew Brees included, there's a little bit of a drop-off toward the end of the season in December, and even in the playoffs, it's so difficult to remain consistent. So I think that Tom Brady's a stronger passer right now, and he just has all the weapons there. So I think it's fun.
And that's what I agree with. I think that, like I said, this offense has really started to come into its own these past 5 weeks. And, you know, like I said, I look at last week's game, and granted, I don't think the Buccaneers defense is as good as the Bears defense. I think the Bears have a championship level defense. It's just that their offense doesn't keep up. But the Bears were dropped Javon. Like, if Javon Wims doesn't drop that touchdown pass that was wide open in the end zone, like, this is a totally different game. So the Saints kind of are lucky to be here right now, if we're being completely honest. I like Tampa Bay. I think Tom also, you know, when you're one of the GOATs, I feel like they all kind of have that borderline psychotic mentality where they just find ways to internally motivate themselves. And I just can't envision Tom Brady losing 3 times to the same team in one season.
Yeah.
I can't see it, especially now with all those weapons. And like I said, it's playoff time. I think he's gearing up to get into a different mode. Antonio Brown has really started to come on these past couple of weeks, which is huge because now it's like a legitimate 3-headed monster over there, wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of firepower. The offense is in a rhythm. Tom Brady is the GOAT. And I got a feeling this is Drew Brees' last game. I think they lose, and this is going to be the end of Drew Brees' career. I think that they're going to put up a hell of a fight. I don't think this is going to be I think this is going to be a game that's decided by 2 or 3 points.
Ooh, okay. Not my 10 points. It's also going to be a hard-fought game because of how many postseason games they've been like taken out of by those flags that we can all know, those notoriously terrible play penalties. And I think that's also going to drive the Saints to play better. But I don't know. Like you said, Tom's the GOAT. We were asked a question, like which veteran QB we would pick in like I didn't want to pick Tom Brady, but Ariana was like, there's nobody else. She literally said, now we've seen Ben lose, right? And then we saw Drew Brees kind of play faulty last week. She's like, you literally can't pick anybody else. Now I was like, yeah, you're right. So I think just based off of that is where I think we all collectively agree. So it's sad. That was kind of sad that you said it was going to be Drew Brees' last game. I was like,
yeah, it's coming.
I was like,
he's got an announcer job lined up. He's going to be completely fine once the season ends. But I think this is Drew Brees' last game.
Okay, but do you really want to hear Drew Brees on the PA system?
I mean, hey, we'll see. I do. Listen, there are some people. Sometimes you hit, like Tony Romo. He was awesome. Jason Witten was kind of terrible. So you hit and miss. You're hit or miss sometimes. I think Drew will be fine though. He's got a pretty decent personality. He speaks well. I think he's knowledgeable enough. A
great analyst. I think he'd be great to just come in and offer a little bit of analysis, even if he's not doing a whole game, but just as a feature or something. He could be great at that.
Did you hear? I think it was during the Colts game last week or the week before, they said that Phillip Rivers wants to be an analyst. And I was kind of like, oh, I never thought that in my life.
I thought he had like a coaching job. I thought he wanted to like go coach high school or something.
That's like that. I don't know if they were projecting that.
One of his kids
should do it, but yeah.
Well, we'll see.
His own football team.
Yeah, he could have his own football team.
He could. Not a lot of kids.
Okay, we'll roll out because I could go on. He is pretty full. So for the Bills and the Ravens, who do you think will play better in the snow?
Well, the fact that it's in Buffalo, I feel like obviously they play there, so they're very they're used to it. Like Baltimore gets cold, but it doesn't get Buffalo cold. So that's one of the things. However, Lamar Jackson in the NFL considers cold weather games to be games that are played at 40 degrees or lower, 40 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. And Lamar Jackson is like 7-2 in those games. So he doesn't tend to struggle when we're in cold weather games. However, I just think Buffalo is a different type of cold. And because they play there, they have a little bit of the advantage. So I think Buffalo has the advantage when it comes to just playing in the snow and having to play up in Buffalo.
Okay, Ariana.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is one of the, because of COVID, we don't have the crowd noise offering a home field advantage, but I think that this is the way that teams can get a home field advantage, and we'll see it with the Packers as well, with cold weather at least. But so this could be a major advantage for the Bills. But the interesting thing is, so the Bills have a very strong passing game, not much of a run game. And we know with the Ravens is actually more the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. We know Lamar can pass, but they run a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see, even if the Bills are better in the snow, if they don't have a run game, which would work better in the snow. So it'll be interesting to see which team will succeed, if it might balance out,
Who do you think is going to score first in this game?
That depends on who has the ball first, right?
No, somebody could go 0-3.
That's true. That's true. Maybe the Bills.
Yeah, I like the Bills. Well, I like the Bills to win this game, and in order for them to win this game, I think they need to start fast. So I'll take the Bills.
The Ravens are going to win and score first.
Really?
Prediction. I think Lamar is gonna win it himself, like he did it last week. He will die on that field in Buffalo, whatever it takes. Like, I don't know, he switched shoes the other game. He is literally gonna do whatever it takes to figure out how to get farther. I do really enjoy watching the Bills play and Josh Allen play. So it's like how I felt last week watching the Ravens and the Titans play. I was like torn, but I feel like after that energy, I'm like, dude, Lamar's for it. He's going to make it and play the next game. So
I will say this, the Ravens, this is a better matchup for the Ravens than it is for the Bills. Because the Bills defense has struggled this year. The Bills haven't necessarily, they've been decent against the run, but they haven't been great, right? Like, you can run on the Bills, and that's something that the Baltimore Ravens do very well, obviously, with J.K. Dobbins, and then we know what Lamar Jackson can do. On the flip side of that, defensively, it's strength on strength, which I really like. That's the key matchup, is can the Bills get Stephon Diggs and John Brown and Cole Beasley going against a Baltimore Ravens secondary, which is the strength of their defense. You have guys like Jimmy Smith, like Marlon Humphreys, like Marcus Peters. You have a lot of really talented pieces in that secondary who if they can slow down Stephon Diggs and keep Cole Beasley in check, then it really becomes, all right, Josh Allen, how much have you really progressed? So I think I understand why people are picking the Ravens. I like I said, this game can go either way. I'm taking the Bills. Part of that is also because I hate the Ravens, being a Steeler fan, so I don't want to see them succeed. But I honestly do think that the Bills are just a tick better, and I think that they'll be able to overcome the matchup. I just think that Josh Allen really has progressed, and we're going to see this offense start hot and put the Ravens into a situation that they're not comfortable in, which is coming back from being down big.
Yeah, those are very good points. Those are very good points. Aryanna, do you want to defend why you think the Bills will win?
No, I think that's a great point you made about the Ravens defense. Just like if they eliminate Josh Allen's weapon and what he can do, as I said, the Bills don't have much of a run game, so they're not going to be able to cope if that is what happens. So they definitely have the defense to match. And we kind of talked about this on a different show, but I guess the way I envision the Bills offense is kind of like the Chiefs. Like, it's hard to put a lid on that offense. It's just like he rolls out and makes a play. I was amazed watching last week against the Colts. I actually, opening out, I saw the Colts were winning and everything, and I thought, oh, cool, yeah, maybe they'll win this game. They've had a good defense. And then the Bills just popped off, and that was it. Couldn't come back from that. So, I mean, it was winnable by a field goal, but you know what I mean? Like, the Bills won that game. So, but yeah, I mean, as I said, we both expect the Bills to win, but I could see the Ravens winning this game as well.
Yeah, this game is definitely split between everyone I've spoken to or watched on TV. And I feel like it's kind of I'm actually excited for every game except the Packers-Rams game. I don't know how everybody feels about that. It might be like the game I'm least most excited for, and that's just because of the way that Goff was throwing last week, the way that Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers are in love and in sync on the field. So, I mean, I saw more people predict the Rams to win. I was very shocked this morning. I was like, are we watching the same team? Have we been seeing the same offense?
Are we jumping into that matchup right now?
Yeah, hit it.
This game is going to be closer than it appears.
Okay.
I don't think the Rams will win. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP this year. Davante Adams should probably win Offensive Player of the Year as well. But this Rams defense is insanely good. And if Aaron Donald is healthy, they have a chance. Two things that the Rams need to do: sack Aaron Rodgers, run the ball well. What they did last week was exactly that. They dominated in the trenches, got after Russell Wilson, didn't let him get comfortable, Russell Wilson had no time to throw the ball last week. He was constantly under duress. And then on the flip side of that, Cam Akers rushed for 120 yards. So if they run the ball well, also you have Jared Goff, who now he's had a little bit more time. He's had about a week now. Maybe that thumb is a little bit healthier. Who knows? But the goal against this team, you don't want Goff throwing the ball 30, 40 times, especially going into Lambeau where it's going to be ridiculously cold. The Rams are used to playing in Los Angeles where it's 70 degrees right now. So it's going to be different for them, but that Rams defense gives them a shot. You have Aaron Donald. Leonard Floyd has been phenomenal for the Rams this year after being picked, after he went over there after leaving Chicago. And the big matchup is going to be Jalen Ramsey versus Davante Adams. And I don't know if it's just me. It seems like whenever Jalen Ramsey is matched up against one of these top wide receivers, he always wins. You look at what he was able to do against DK Metcalf this year. Held DK Metcalf in check for the most part. Held DeAndre Hopkins in check. He's phenomenal. He's a true lockdown corner. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is great. He extends plays and all that other stuff. But I'm picking the Green Bay to win this. I think this game will be closer. I can see this game being decided by 10 points or less. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game.
I'm just surprised how many Rams comments we just read. Joe said the Rams. I'm
it's that defense, man. That defense is scary. Like I said, if Aaron Donald and his ribs are okay, all bets are off.
Okay, Aryanna.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, this is one of the top NFL offenses for sure with the Green Bay Packers, but it's going against the Rams, the top NFL defense, and we saw how that played out last week. I mean, Russ has been not cooking lately anyway, but they were able to knock the Seahawks out of the playoffs, and they did win that division. So, yeah, I think that if Aaron Donald is out, that definitely changes things for this game. But if he is in, I think that it feels like it can be a very even match. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. However, as far as I'm advancing further in the playoffs, I don't see how the Rams could possibly make it to the Super Bowl or even win it. I just don't think their team is strong enough to get to that point. But it is possible, I think, that they could beat the Packers.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I don't really know if I want to see the Rams after the last Rams Super Bowl, so I'd be okay with them not advancing that far.
Listen, defense is fun, okay? You guys just want to see offenses put up 60 points.
No.
Defense is fun too, okay?
Cut me some slack. I just think that a little bit more effort could have been
10-3. What was it? 10-3 or whatever, or 10-6. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Those are two great defenses.
Yeah, it was great defense. I'm a defensive guy. I like defense, so.
Yeah. There's a lot to admire about that game, but sorry.
But you're still projecting Packers all around.
Yeah, like I said, I like the Packers by a touchdown. I'll say like Packers like 23-16, something like that. I like that.
Okay. Well, of course, the best game of the weekend, I think, because I've seen more people pick the Browns than I would have ever thought. And I think that's just because they scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. So are the Browns, are we overestimating their worth? I'm confused. So let's kick it off with Dom. You just strategically watch them. So.
Yeah. So listen. I understand Browns fans. I understand Browns fans. People are happy for the Browns and all that. And also, to their point, one of the reasons why a lot of people feel like this game could be interesting and could be close is because when you look at what the Chiefs were kind of expected to do in games this year, the Chiefs didn't blow out a lot of the teams that people thought they would. Whenever the Chiefs were expected to win by double digits, it felt like those games came down to the last play. The Chiefs were in a lot of one-score games this year, and that was not the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think the playoffs are different. I think this team sits back and they realize, listen, all of our focus, play our best ball for 3 games, and we're champs. And I think that mentality really kicks in for this team. Also, Andy Reid coming off a bye is the most dangerous coach in all of the NFL. He very rarely ever loses coming off of a bye week. And I just think that this Browns team, they're going to have to do so much right to just even make this game competitive, because they're going to need to run the ball and run the ball effectively. They're going to need to play ball control. Baker Mayfield is going to have to play a perfect game. Myles Garrett is going to have to play the best game of his career to get Patrick Mahomes off of his spot. And the main reason for that is because this Cleveland secondary is terrible. Yes, they get Denzel Ward back, but you literally have the weakest part of your team is going up against the strongest part of the Chiefs offense, which is passing the ball. I feel like the Chiefs are going to blow them out, in all honesty. And this is not me being a bitter Steelers fan. Some people kind of said the same thing. Chase Claypool kind of had some backlash because he basically was like, yeah, it's all right. The Browns are going to get clapped by the Chiefs next week. People, granted, yes, Chase, you probably shouldn't be talking after they sent you home. But when you look past the point of who said it and you just look at what he said, he's not wrong. If the Chiefs go out and they score 17 points in the first quarter, and now the Browns have to kind of abandon the run, which is the strength of their offense, it's going to be an ugly game. I like the Chiefs to win this game by 20 points, in all honesty.
Do you see Baker getting picked off?
Yeah, because I think the Chiefs offense is going to come out clicking, and they're going to get a big lead early, and that's going to force Baker to throw the ball more. The Browns are 0-9 when Baker throws the ball more than 35 times. And I feel like that's what's going to happen in this game.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too. I feel like those mistakes are what's going to lead them to lose. Okay, Aryanna.
Yeah, I have to agree with Dom. I feel like the Browns are going to have to do everything right in this game, but I don't think it's out of reach for the Browns because we just saw their performance last week. They were able to come out strong in the first quarter, but I think that something that the Steelers and the Chiefs have in common a little bit is resting on their laurels. The Steelers had such a long undefeated streak this season. I think that definitely got in a players' mentalities and their heads, and I think that with the Chiefs, it's at least the fan base is we just want won a Super Bowl. We just won a Super Bowl. So I think there's a little bit of, okay, maybe taking it a little too easy on the Browns. And I think that can count against any team that isn't taking them seriously. But as far as the talent they have to work with, I think the run game will be really important in this game for the Browns. And as far as defense, if they're able to contain Patrick Mahomes and prevent him from getting off those passes, especially if their secondary is weak. So Myles Garrett, if he's able to rush, or they're just able to spy the quarterback and everything, they could really contain Mahomes and maybe put a bit on that passing offense. And if they're able to do that and control the game a bit with the run, they could win it. But I say for the Chiefs to win.
Okay. I was going to say, do you see Patrick getting picked off from the Browns defense?
Not really, unless he gets pressured into doing something like a kind of crazy no-look pass that doesn't work out or something. Yeah, but besides that,
he for Patrick Mahomes to kind of have this gunslinger and like kind of aura about him, he's actually very, very well calculated, and he doesn't take too many. Or, well, I will say this: the risks that he takes usually work out for him. But there are some passes where it's just like, there's no way you should make that pass. There's no way that should work out, and it kind of does. So I don't see, like I said, Pat is pretty good at taking care of the ball. It's another one of the reasons why I like the Chiefs. Also, I didn't mention this the first time around. I feel like the Browns kind of won their Super Bowl last week, and I feel like, because think about it. This is the team that hasn't been to an AFC conference championship since like the 80s or something like that. This is their first playoff win in like 17 years. And you did it against your division rivals on national television. And in all honesty, beat the hell out of them. And I feel like that kind of emotional high, like we talk about teams who like win the Super Bowl and they have the Super Bowl hangover next year.
Right.
I kind of feel like that's the case. That's going to be the case with the Browns, where it's like, there's so much of a emotional high that you put into beating the Steelers that you're going to kind of come out flat this week. And I just feel like it's to me, it's just a perfect storm of Browns secondary is terrible, coming off a super emotional win last week, probably going to come out a little flat. And then this Chiefs offense is one of the greatest we've ever seen. I like the Chiefs.
The people on that team, like, I feel like Travis Kelce alone is like 2 wide receivers plus half of a tight end, like that guy can do anything. So yeah, I agree across the board. I don't know what everybody else is hearing that they're expecting the Browns to come through. I seriously saw on Good Morning Football, it was 3-1 Browns to Chiefs votes.
I want it to happen. Yeah, everyone loves an underdog story. So
yeah, everyone loves an underdog, but the Chiefs aren't going to spot you 28 points in the first quarter. Like, totally. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no. I think it's funny, actually. So with the Steelers and everything, and that being their Super Bowl, the last 2 times that the Browns were in the playoffs, they got beat by the Steelers. So these division rivalries can really feel like Super Bowls, and I think it feels that way for the fans sometimes. So exactly. I have to agree. Sometimes, if they get this win in the playoffs, at least they have that. I don't know if they'll get it against the Chiefs this week, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's funny. Aryanna says she's been saying that since I met her. She's like, division rivalries are like something you don't understand. And I was like, yeah. But I feel like this year, especially with the no fans because of COVID, I saw it 100%. I was like, geez, like the fighting. It was like, I don't know. Maybe I didn't take notice too. I don't know.
It means a lot.
Yeah. Who did the Chiefs lose to this year? They lost to the Raiders and the Chargers. Division rivals. That's all they lost to. So, and then you're so much more familiar with like the coaches and their playbooks and the tendencies. So yeah, it's incredibly competitive.
Ooh, well, I am excited for this weekend. I know both of you are, and I appreciate you coming on here to talk about things. Next week, we'll have another Moving the Chains, talking about AFC and NFC and what's going to lead to the Super Bowl. So thank you, Dom and Aryanna, for being here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy. And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Please have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.